Hey, YouTube. I'm gonna wait till y'all come on. Hey, one person, come on in the room. Go ahead, hit the thumbs ups. I will start in a few minutes. Oof, alcohol. All right. Who's the one person lurking in the background? Go ahead and hit the thumbs ups. I would appreciate it. Hey, two people. Go ahead, hit the thumbs ups. It's not costing anything, it's free. This is rubbing alcohol. Oof. All right, y'all. Y'all ain't coming on in here like y'all used to. All right, so let me go ahead and start. Y'all just have to catch the replay, I guess. So, today, the stock market went real crazy. And watching YouTube, especially the ones who are, I call them doom and gloom, because they always base their YouTube channel on financial and economic conditions in the economy, how they just like to regurgitate a lot of the news reels about the economy, especially when it comes to the stock market and the recession, anything dealing with politics, when it comes to the government and inflation and everything else. So, one of the things that I've always said, even before COVID, back in 2020, prior to that, I've always said that the economy is cynical. Cynical. It always has a ways of going down, going up, down. But I always said, even back in 2008, 2009, when we had this last economic um, collapse, I guess you could say, because it was mainly a lot of the banks, or all, most of the banks were getting bailed out. The real estate, housing collapse. A lot of people had lost their homes. A lot of the values of houses went down. That's how I managed to buy my home back in 2009. And so, even then, I remember when I purchased my home, even though, it appraised at the time like 130, based that's what the real estate agent said. And he says, oh, in 10 years it will go up, and it did. But when you think about the last economic downturn, or whatever you want to say, a lot of things you heard was a lot of people during that time made money. You know, a lot of millionaires, billionaires increased their financial position when it's a downturn situation such as this. So you have to really stick it out, especially if you're working a gig job and doing Uber Eats and Grubhub and DoorDash. You see I'm wearing my shirt, you know, not that I still do it. I'm just wearing the shirt. And if you're working, like especially doing gig work, I don't know how many people does Uber and Lyft and all these gigs, even the ones that you don't really hear too much about, merchandising and mystery shopping or whatever. Most people are doing it as a supplemental income, as long in addition to working additional jobs, whatever it may be. Now, I feel sorry for those who still got this mindset that, oh, you could still make thousands of dollars a week doing these deliveries, door dashing, and all these other things, and under the impression that you could still make the money doing this gig work. Even if you did Spark, I still haven't got on with Spark. I signed up with Spark months ago, but I ain't heard nothing. I know nothing. I ain't heard nothing back from them, especially since I had first heard about Spark probably over a year ago when I first looked into it, but I didn't sign up because I didn't like. They only had two areas at the time: South Atlanta area, which was really um, not East Point, but it was like somewhere south of Atlanta, and it covered such a wide area. Like you could actually be going to Columbus for all I know, and then the other one was a section in Sandy Springs, but they didn't have any available. But I said, nope, I'm not doing South Atlanta because you could be in Macon, Savannah, all I know, you know. And then Sandy Springs was totally booked. So I didn't think about it anymore. So when I started coming across a person YouTube channel, Terry Tips, and I saw that he was doing Spark, I said, wait a minute. So I went on Spark and I saw that they had Tucker, Lawrenceville, Snellville, Chamblee, Tucker, Atlanta. They had all these areas. And I was like, what? So when I signed up for Tucker, I think I signed up for Tucker. Yeah. And it was still I signed up, did everything, but they said it was a waiting list. So I was put on the waiting list. So every Monday they said, oh, you check every Monday. Every Monday I get an email about when it becomes available. You'll be notified on Mondays. So I ain't heard nothing back from them. I ain't heard nothing from it. And not that I was needing to do Spark. I mean, it would have been interesting to do it just to see how it is. But I knew that if I was like doing it in Tucker, which is not that far from me where I live, that would have been something I would have probably done, maybe a couple of days a week or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. But it seems like the people who were doing it, they were like doing pretty good. But, like always, when you first do something, especially some of these gig work apps, see, they pull you in and try to um, offer all these type of bonuses. If you complete so many trips in this amount of time, you will get an extra whatever $100. So it seems really good until you get a whole bunch of other people started jumping on board, and then after that, it gets kind of competitive. Now, good thing about it, I think Spark they didn't just open it up for everybody, because many times you have, people like to say, "Oh, it's oversaturated." You know, they always going to have an influx of people to sign up, not because it gets so extremely busy, but at the same time, they have that. Their whole thing is worked out with the algorithm. So it's not about, oh, it's oversaturated, it's too many people, blah blah blah. Because people live all over Atlanta, different sections of Atlanta, different parts of Atlanta, and everybody's not always going to run down their car and and go to certain areas. You know, everybody's not going to stay locally where they live, but at the same time, everyone don't have everybody's not going to jump on the board at the same time. Everybody's not going to do it at the same time. People's going to, based upon their schedule, based upon their circumstances, and what else they got going on. That's why people were doing multiple apps. That's what I did, multiple apps several years ago. A few years ago now. I ain't gonna say several, but you know, 4 or 5 years ago. I had signed up the different apps as I heard about it, and but that was different back in 2016, 2017, to even 2015. If you did it then, it was different. The territories was much smaller. The type of restaurants and stores and clientele was different. These were people who had money. The rates were pretty good. You didn't have to. Everyone who wanted to do Uber Eats or DoorDash or whatever, you had to go to Midtown, Buckhead, in the city of Atlanta, and go to those more expensive, exclusive little areas. Lenox Mall. You had Buckhead. You had to go to those certain areas. You had to go to those private restaurants that, um, that people frequently go to eat, and the convenience of having the food delivered. Um, the quality of food was way better. The prices was not no fast food, Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, Burger King. It wasn't. Those things didn't exist. Those fast food places but didn't exist. The clientele of people, and I ain't talking about race because it's not always about race, but people who had money, people who had um, the income to order food or have their groceries delivered, they had money to spend because they had other things that they had to do. You know, the clientele of customers were way different. You was able to go and do those. You was going to a fancy pizza place in Buckhead, or noodle place or whatever, um, to pick up food. But once it started expanding out in the suburbs, that's when mostly black folks, mixed Mexican, Hispanic, or people who didn't live in, you know, they didn't have that type of disposable income, and they started going to, the kids want to order McDonald's, even though it was up the street. People were going to these cheap fast food places to order food, and the likelihood of what areas or neighborhood you live, you wasn't good at tip. I always said, people say you can't based on where you go. You can't be discriminating against people. Yes, you can, because when it comes to me driving, burning up my gas and running down my car, and I'm going up there doing a service, and you start saying, well, you know what? These people ain't gonna tip. Why should I leave Midtown Buckhead, Sandy Springs, or even the more exclusive areas that I know that's pretty good, where I know I'm going to get, um, I'm going to good restaurants. People's going to tip. People's going to appreciate and go up in the hood where you gotta, deal with people's attitudes and acting like, oh, that's your job and I'm not supposed to tip, and black folks, you know, Indian people, you know. Why should I do that? Why would I do that? Nope. I'm gonna stay in my little exclusive area, Brookhaven or whatever, and keep going right on back, circle it and maximize my money and my time. And I did pretty good. And I knew when it was time to exit too. I've always said that. I've always said this. Even when people wanted to formulate massive strikes across the country so they could get more pay and get more income back in the day. And this was before we had any issues of recession. This is before we had any financial issues. But I knew back then that 5, 6 years, I said 5, 6 years from now, it's gonna be a collapse. The economy was gonna collapse. It's not gonna be as great. And only thing I didn't expect to happen was the coronavirus. Now that's something that never crossed the radar of the situation of how it's gone. But I always said that the economy is cyclical. It goes up and it goes down. Even from 2008, 2009, we'll have a good run, but it always happens. And if people really study history and study the economy, one will learn. This ain't the first time. Everything that we going through now, that ain't the first time that we experiencing this. Now, I might have been a little girl back in the 70s. I'm born 1968, so in the 70s. I don't know the whole string of time frame, but there was a time where when me, my sisters, and my parents, we in New York, and it was a time in history. If you think about New York, New York as a whole almost went bankrupt. It was almost to a collapse that I do recall. And I remember, how they were saying back in the day, people, the gas prices was off the chain, and they had all those um, um, energy crisis, and people had to push their cars because they couldn't get no gas. That whole entire economic collapse during that 70s, and the inflation was like off the chain, and people were really struggling. Now I remember in New York, they had like they said, oh, it was like a blackout. So all these things that's going on now, I'm quite sure during the 70s when inflation was high and unemployment was off the chain and everything else was going on, it was an economic collapse. Now, um, if you think of another period of time when things were bad, the depression. I wasn't born then. I don't know nothing about the depression, but if you think about looking at old film and read information about what happened during the Great Depression when people were lined up and unemployment was high, people were standing in soup cans. That's why when you speak to people who grew up during the Great Depression, they call them the generation that was lived through that. They didn't like to talk about it, but they were the survivors, you know. And it took FDR. That's why people, when you look at these old TV shows, and there was always references about FDR, and they were referencing back in the 50s and stuff, and how people were like, you know, how they got out of that situation, got out of that. This was a worldwide economy. This wasn't just the United States. This was a worldwide economy when the Great Depression happened. It wasn't just the United States; it was worldwide. They had World War One, World War Two. You know, um, they even had the plague. The Spanish flu, 1913. What was it? 1920s, 1920 something like that. So there has always been a disaster worldwide and economy and everything. And this ain't and what we experiencing now, that ain't nothing new. That ain't nothing. So when you listen to things on the news or people on YouTube with the doom and gloom and you know, um, and the stock market went down went down 1,700 something points today or whatever. I look at my app, everything is red. I'm like, dang. Look at my 401k and stuff. I didn't even, I didn't even look. I looked at the I didn't even look at it recently, except for the one for the thrift because they had changed over the systems and stuff, and saw that I lost $6,000 plus, and I was like, damn. But it's not always going to be up, 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 up every time. Every quarter, every month, or whatever, it's not always going to be up, up, up. So if it went down, it's not like I'm going to lose all of my money. It's not like I'm going to lose every 90,000 plus dollars in that thrift plan. It's just going to go down to collapse down to $2. That ain't. Trust me, that ain't going to happen. And if you have more time and you have more, especially I talk to people who are younger, just they just kind of like not planning on what are you gonna do, because I think in my assessment, in my knowledge, now I'm not no economist, and don't be holding me truth, but I just think we're just entering a whole new other era of ways how things are going to be. You know, that's all that is. It's a whole shift of technology and how the world's going to be, how things are going to be. That's what it is. I'm 53 years old. I'll be 54 in a couple months. And I'm not, by the time God willing, if I live to be, even if I live to be 70 years old, it's going to be a whole new type of world. It's going to be a whole new ways of how things are going to be in this world. It ain't going to be the same. There are things that my I ain't got no great grand, my grand nieces and nephews, they're gonna experience things, and they're not even gonna know the things that I know. They're gonna be like, what is this? What's a let me see, give an example. They may say, what's a telephone? They may have if you keep an old telephone that was on the wall, they ain't even gonna know what that is. They're gonna like, this is ancient. That's why kids now, they got cell phones. They don't know what no dial tone and then, whatever. I mean, I can't even think of something that most people don't even know about that never exists. Typewriter, you know, or um, whatever it is. I don't know. I can't think of it, but you know what I'm talking about. Because every generation, there's always something that may be totally unrelated. Oh, I know, CDs. Ain't nobody gonna know no CDs. Ain't nobody gonna know about no records, little black vinyl records and stuff. They gonna like, what's that? you know, That's the amazing thing about it. That's the amazing thing about it. So when this talks, when you hear talks about, oh, we doom and gloom, this and that or whatever, it's like you have to, you can't worry about what the government's going to do because they're going to do what they're going to do. But you have to say to yourself, financially, what is it that I could do? I said to myself today, I went to the Lidl's to buy some little bit of groceries or whatever. I have bought milk, orange juice, almond milk. What else did I buy? Milk, orange juice, bread, and a mango, which was on sale, a big mango for 99 cents, and bananas. I said, this is the last time I'm going to the grocery store. I'm not going to groceries no more this month because I already got, I went to Sam's Club a couple weeks ago and bought all that pork chops, chicken. I got all of my meats, even stuff I bought a couple months ago. I bought a big ham. I got the big old salmon and stuff. So I'm not buying no more meats. Everything in that freezer, in my big freezer in the garage, and my freezer in the kitchen. And that's it. I said I'll walk right by the meats. I said, nope, no meats. I'm not buying. I don't need to buy no meats. I got, plenty of meats. Ground. Um, I could cook stew. I bought a lot, so ain't no reason for me to buy no meats. And then when I looked at, no canned vegetables, nope. I bought me some fresh vegetables and like broccoli. I'm gonna eat that probably when I get downstairs. I'm gonna bake me a pork chop or whatever and steam me some broccoli. But um, and I was so much pork chops, it was so big I could cut that in half, and I'd be like, "Oop, tomorrow's dinner as well." I didn't buy no potato chips. I just walked right on by. Hey, Charlie, what? What? Come here. Say hi to you too. Come here. Come here. Come here. Hey, YouTube. Hi, Charlie. Say hi. Hey, Charlie. Charlie. And then that's the only thing. Buy Charlie food. That's it. I'm not, even though I may have to um, go online and see if I can get something. Here, come here, rest. Come here, boo. Charlie got spoiled. You're not hungry because I fed you when I got back home. So what do you want? Hmm? Hmm? What do you want? So anywho, I don't know. If you work in these gig jobs and the way how things are going, and you surprised or or people so bent out of shape about they not getting no tips. I ain't getting no tips and and I'm not going this way. I'm not traveling. I'm not driving, but this amount. Well, that's your choice. You know, that's your choice. And for people who was like, oh, it depends on which market you in. Ain't nobody making no money. I don't care what nobody say. There ain't no way that you could just do these gig jobs and that's it, and not have no other type of um, W-2 or regular income, working another job and doing that on the side. Even me, I got two jobs, even though I may take VTO or whatever, because I'm just like physically worn out, and I may make my own schedule when I work TurboTax, and then even then today I was so sick I didn't feel well. I couldn't even work my schedule today. I was just so sick, and I was like, oh God, and and then as for my other little gigs I do on the side with survey.com and all the other ones, that's drying up. I was like, what the hell? Who keeps taking my jobs? You know, I was get special offers, $180 something, and the minute I go on there, I may check the app. I see that it's not offered anymore because somebody already doing it. I said, who the hell was doing these gig work that I was doing? All these couple of years I've done it, and then I'm not even gonna make. I don't think I'm gonna make my little goal of making 10,000 plus dollars this year on my special gigs on the side. Even if I looked at the ones I'm doing, Observer and some of the other ones, I may have to go back to some of the other apps that I was doing. Um, the source. I may have to go back to some of the other apps that I'm signed up to do, but I'm not doing Uber Eats and I'm not doing those because um, it's just not there. Even Atlanta, the biggest Atlanta market, Atlanta is a big market. Even then, um, it's not lucrative. It never was. I mean, it may have been 1.45 years ago, but I still see people. I still see people in public, especially one up the street from my house, and I could tell they doing Instacart, and I would ask them and say, "Yeah, they're doing Instacart." These young people. I could tell they just probably done it this year or maybe done it for under a year or so, and they doing it. And now they may do it because they don't have that type of responsibilities. They probably living at home, so they don't, maybe they going to school or whatever it is they're doing. But those the ones I'm seeing doing it is more like people at a certain age. Oops, okay, Charles, go ahead. Get off my shirt. Go ahead. Uh, Bye. What do you want? Ain't nothing over here to eat. I already fed you. What do you want? Hmm? So anyway, that's why I'm like, you know what? If it means that I have to do two jobs for now until I break into tech. Oh hell. Until I break into tech or start applying for more higher end jobs or careers rather, especially in Salesforce, because so far the class is going okay, and you just have to you just have, it's this economy. Those who come out of it well are the ones who are prepared, meaning that you watch your budget, watch what you spend, try to pay down as much as your debts as possible, credit card debts, pay down your debts as much as possible, student loans, whatever, car note, try to pay that as quickly as possible and stay and live within your means. And lastly, start looking into investing your money. I'm still doing investments with the real estate investments, not buying houses, but buying real estate investments, which is doing pretty good, but I'm letting that grow. So, I'm doing that with another app that I'm doing. I spoke about it. Charlie, what you doing? Uh-uh. There ain't nothing in there. So, and then I'm still doing a couple of two of them. Well, I have the app for Robinhood and I have the other one for Cash App buying stocks, but I haven't bought any lately in terms of like ETFs or buying more shares of stock because um, two of my investments that I'm investing are to two other apps that I'm doing. So Fundrise is one, and the other one um, that I also spoke of, I'm still doing those. So it's going up because one thing for sure, I could tell you, there ain't gonna be no decline in prices in houses. Now it may be a slowdown, like people may slowing down buying a house because people anticipating the interest rates are going to go up, and the Feds will probably increase the interest rates again to 0.75 points. So buying houses and real estate has always been slow, especially during this time of year. But this is the best time to buy a home if you were looking to buy a house, but there's no supply, and um, a lot of people are not, you know, financially set to do it. But if you are, you can't anticipate about getting a low rate for your mortgage or whatever. Some people are doing an arm, and but there's a risk, a chance that you're taking that it will go up. Um, I may not have got the best interest rate when I signed up for FHA loan back in the day, like 5.5, but interest rates was like 2 point something, 3 point something through the years. Even when I first inquired about refinancing at the lower interest rate at the time, I was like, how much money I'm saving going for a lower interest rate? It was like 80, $60. 60, it was like 60 or $80. I said, that's all. I said, shoot. Now people may say, well, if it's $60 or $80 a month and in 30 years, that's such and such amount of savings and this and that or whatever. I said, first of all, I wasn't planning on keeping my mortgage for no 30 years, for one. And two, I said, I'll just pay extra. And I've been paying extra on my mortgage every month since I lived in this house. It's almost 13 years I lived in this house. 13 years, September 1st, I moved and lived in this house. So I've been paying extra since then. And I'm in a position to pay this mortgage off within the next few years. It's not even 30 years. I said, hell no, I'm not paying nothing for no 30 years. Now, I just have to budget myself. And the only thing I could say that I probably wish I didn't really do was purchase another car. Even though the SUV, I like it, but I got a good price. But I said, shoot, if I sell this SUV, I'll probably make the money that I spent, if not more, because it's such a shortage on vehicles. But I said to myself, even then I'm paying a little bit extra on that vehicle, you know. So I said, let me finish paying this off quickly too. And I pay just a little bit more than what I pay every month. And at that point, I'm not gonna trade it in and get something else. I ain't gonna get no Tesla or nothing like that. But I said to myself, um, I don't really travel a whole lot, and if need be, I just need to, just work on some things financially. But I think that my issue is not making enough income to pay off debts and bills or whatever. And even then, even though I may make pretty good financially, working at Amazon, even though the night shift differential pay, even though it's $16 and some change, plus the $2 for the night and weekend, that may, that's okay. I ain't gonna say that's the best, but I said to myself, I'm only here for the insurance, and I'm only here for me to take advantage of going to school, which I'm doing. And once I finish this program with Salesforce and the training and start looking into a career coach, and let them just tear up their resume and really put my skills out there. And working at TurboTax, I'll be there 3 years, and there's just other things for me to do. But I have the skill sets, I have the grit, I guess you could say, to get it out of my mind about my age. I need to get that out of my mind about the age. But see, there's opportunities, especially for younger people these days, to pursue something in tech. And even if you don't understand, even if you don't want to do tech, because everybody may not have the capabilities or the smarts or the discipline to learn, there are so many other opportunities out there that one could pursue: nursing, healthcare, truck driving. I just looked at the other day, Amazon career choice. I looked on there. I said, let me see what's on here. And they had, you could go to school, A1, what was it, A1 30 something, that you could go to truck driving school right at Amazon. And they'll pay for you to go to truck driving school or HVAC. It's like, I may complain about Amazon about, oh, it's so long and stay on your feet all day, blah blah blah. Even though I be, but that really keeps me more aware that there are good, there are more good advantages than there are bad. And I said, shoot, if I'm gonna stand up here and I'll work my schedule. If they give VTO, that's fine. I'll take VTO. I could go home and study. I can go home and rest. I'm not 25 no more, like the doctors tell me. You ain't 25 no more. But you know what? I said, if I could get health insurance and I could get and go to school, which I'm doing now, and all these people who younger people, even if you're an immigrant, they got these services that you just can't beat. You just can't beat it. You know, you just can't beat it. But I said to myself, you know what? Even if the CEO and the people of Uber corporate, if they even say, pushing people to these new technology jobs or these high demand jobs, medical, health, transportation, and you've been there 3 months and you don't take advantage of what they have to offer, man, y'all silly. And I keep telling that all the time. I guess one day I'm going to be featured in one of their A to Z apps. Maybe they'll feature me, and I could, I'll be featured and about it, because if I knew that Amazon had that career choice, even when I first started Amazon, working from home and working at this one in Smyrna, if I knew that way back when, I probably would have been a software engineer. It's been in existence for 10 years. I said, well, dog. Oh yeah, all I had to do was stick it out. But nope. Sometimes we make choices at the time and not look at the big picture. But I said to myself, you know what? I don't know why I keep looking at this person's video, gig hustle, whatever his name is. I was like, he's like, I'm not smart enough to do this. I used to, I could run a bar and I could do this and this. And he keep, I had unsubscribed from him. Gig hustler. How could you speak that in your how can you speak those words in your existence of this downtrodden, I'm not smart enough, my ADD, my AC, whatever, I do it for my son. There's nothing wrong with doing, it's nothing wrong with people doing things for their children, you know? But sometimes you have to do it for yourself. I'm not saying people should not sacrifice the things they do for their kids or whatever the case may be, but you have to be smart enough to do it for yourself, because children are going to love the parent, well, as long as you treat them good or whatever, but they're going to treat respect and good for the kids. It's not what you could buy for them or give them that's going to be it. It ain't going to be, that's not it. But a lot of times people's like, I do it for my kids, that's my why, that's for my kids. And I was like, but yeah, okay, you could do it for your kids, but if you're hustling and always working and always not being around and you saying you're doing it for your kids, if you're not in the presence because you're so occupied doing all this hustle and working and da da da, and then you may see them a couple of hours a day, it gets to a point where it's good to be an example, but you have to do it for yourself first. You have to do it for yourself. I'm not saying people should not do things for their kids or I'm doing it for my kids. But what about you? What are you doing? Because, see, that's why when people say, I'm doing it for my kids, and then they live precariously through their kids, you stifle the child. Because a lot of times, some people, you know, they say they do it for the kids, but then they live precariously through their kids. And then when the child grows up or whatever, and they don't meet your expectations because you thinking that they're obligated to take care of you because you sacrificed the things you've done for them. But the fact of the matter is, you do it for yourself. I've never heard my mother say, "Oh, I'm doing it for my kids." When my mother went to school, me and my sisters, we were young. We would go, and she went to Bronx Community College and Hunter College and all these, and went as high as got her doctorate. Me and my sisters, we were there. We went to all the graduations. When we were younger, we went to school while we were outside playing. She took us to school, with her, because if she didn't have anyone to watch over us, or we didn't go to my cousin's house and we play, and then it was my father, it was a lot of things. But I don't remember my mother saying, "Oh, we did it for the kids." No, you do it for yourself, and then if you have a family and you so happen to have kids, you be able to improve on yourself and teach them whatever age group they're in. If they're young kids or whatever, you teach them appropriate age lessons. Don't always do it for I'm doing it for the kid. You sacrificing and sacrificing. Do it for yourself. Do it for yourself and teach your kids what the things they need to learn age appropriate wise. That's how a lot of kids, even if you came from a privileged background or even if you came from a poor background, they always expect somebody to do stuff for them, especially if you have boys. If you have boys and you didn't have a father in the house and the mother, they always let the boys get away with things and not learn anything. Or they treat them, "Oh, my little man, it's my little man," and then you babying the kids, or you know, you doing stuff for the kids, and kids are and can't even do anything for themselves. No, they have to learn to do things. You know, they have to learn to do things. That's why when you think about successful people that grew up poor and they are successful, it's because they had to grow up quicker because the mother, usually the woman, is out there working two, three jobs. Let these kids know at an age that they're not always going to get everything they're going to want. They're not going to sit there in the store crying and carrying on, falling out and whatever. No, we're in an economy now that they have to know what's going on. How would they save money? How would they not go to the store expecting to get two, three, $400 sneakers and put on their feet to go to school because they want to look a certain way for their kids or their friends, or buying some PlayStation and they need to know this type of economy that we're entering and this thing we entering now. They have to be responsible and they have to know how things are. Not be privileged, even if you got the money, even if you grew up in a wealthy, $1 million and this and that or whatever. That applies to those people too. Teach them in terms of what's going on in the economy. Teach them to be resilient and to um, do things for themselves. If you have teenagers or you have people who's like, they 15, 16, whatever, there's no way that a parent or a person should be, I'm doing it for the kids and you sacrificing like that and the kids is sitting back doing nothing. No, no. Hey, Romeo, all these times people, this is a time now. There ain't no need to be struggling. I mean, it's going to be a struggle for a lot of people. I read somewhere in the article, a lady was making 300, oh no, she was making six figures. She ain't lived in no California. She was making six figures, and she still said she was struggling, even just to come up with school clothes for the kids. I was like, dang, white woman too. She making six figures, and she's still struggling. And then what she did, the kids had to wear hand me down. So the previous kids that was, whatever, you know, pass down the book bag. They said, nope, ain't nobody buy no $60 book bag or whatever. They said, whatever book bag the other child had, they going to take to school and do that too. Clothes, hand me downs, you know. I knew when I was growing up, I'm quite sure we ain't had no fancy looking clothes and all that stuff, you know. As I got older, my father, we would go to south, go down south. I bet a lot of people going to get W2 to look up this number. Well, you said that the last time, Romeo. People ain't, whatever job people going to do, people ain't doing it. I know. People ain't going down to no local whatever. Most people who going down working at fast food or whatever, you may see some people, younger people, if it's like Chick-fil-A or something, or Culver's, you may see a lot of younger people, but they like in high school, they live at home. They not living on their own. I'm talking about people in high school and stuff or whatever. They, but all I know is this type of this type of economy we in, and they still saying, "Oh, we haven't hit the rock bottom yet." I don't know what rock bottom gonna look like, but I know for me, I sure did gonna I said, "Shoot, I sure did bypass buying potato chips and all that junk and stuff." I said, "Nope." You know, I went to Panera yesterday, and I was like, I didn't feel like cooking, even though I had that pork chops right there in the freezer, right there in the refrigerator. And I went to Panera, and they didn't. I told them I want to toast the bread because I don't like eating cold bread or food, and they messed it up. And I said I wanted this toasted. I said it like three, four times, so they had to make it over. But in the meantime, I took the first one, took it right off the. Yeah, I took it. I put it in a box, took that home, and I had two sandwiches, two big turkey Bravo, and I had two sandwiches. I took one home. I said, "Shoot, I'm taking this home," and the bag of chips. They gave me a whole new order over again. I said, "Shoot, they wasn't going to take that plate and throw the sandwich in the garbage," so I took the first one. All I had to do was go home and warm it up myself. But they made the mistake because I wanted it. I was going to eat it there, you know, just like Culver's the other day. I didn't spend no money at Culver's. I said, if you looked at that video, that short video when they had that fly in the sweet tea, they just made the sweet tea, put it on the counter. I went there to get some. I was like, what the hell? And I showed it to them. They didn't even apologize. I said, excuse me, y'all, can you look at this? And I took a picture of it too. You gotta put a. How you gonna have a little fly in the sweet tea, and the girl still making the tea, pouring more tea in there. I was like, he had to tell her to throw it out. He didn't even apologize. Do you want your money back? Yeah, I want my money back, and I want it to be remade. And then they're gonna give me this. Then they made the burger. The thing had mayo. I said I didn't want any condiments. Condiments is ketchup, mayo, and mustard. If I said no condiments, no ketchup, how you gonna put it on there? Then when they came back with this second sandwich, the thing was overcooked and burnt. Now I did take a picture of that. I'm probably gonna put something on there. I said, excuse me. I waited 20 minutes and they had the burger all flat. I was so disappointed in Culver's. It was all flat and crunchy. I said, look at this. Look how this look. They had it all messed up, sloppy looking. They had to bring me another one again. Man, what is it that you don't want on the sandwich? Bitch, I'm talking on the phone with David. David know. David be coming on here. I sent him the picture and he looked there and said, yuck. And so I didn't pay for my meal. I said, nope, I want my money back and I want you to fix it because I was already there for like 30, 40 minutes. And I wasn't gonna go to Panera because it was already like 8:30. Panera closed at 9, and most likely they ain't have nothing at the end of the evening. They ain't gonna have no more bread. They ain't gonna have no more whatever. So I wasn't gonna go to Panera and leave because I knew Panera was about to close and they ain't gonna have a lot of stuff towards the end. So I basically let them remake that whole meal. I said, no, you can make the fries over too. I'm not gonna eat the fries and then wait for the burger. And I mean, it was a mess. So I said, you know what? Um, Sunday was my last time eating at Culver's. I said, nope, no more Culver's. Matter of fact, I need to write an email to the owner or the franchisee because I took a picture and I'm gonna send him an email along with the picture that I took of the meals and how it looked. So no more. I said, you know what? Maybe God would try to tell me, Teresa, you have a commitment of eating healthy. And I sat there and tried to go to Culver's and get a cheeseburger. I said, nope. Mm-mm. Nope. I didn't spend no money that day. I didn't spend none. They gave me my money back. Plus, I told them to make me a fresh one, and they had to do that twice. And I said, y'all just being funny now. Y'all just trying to give me anything and don't even care. I said, I come here every week, and y'all know. I said, yes, we know. I said, nope, no more. Come on, can we offer you an ice cream? No, I don't want no ice cream. I didn't even want no ice cream. I didn't even want no ice cream. I said nope. So no more Culver's for me, at least for a long time. Long time. And Panera, basically, I just use the gift cards. I get these points for all these different points and receipts and all this other stuff. So when I have these gift cards and these points, if I wanted to splurge and go somewhere and not feel like cooking, I use the gift card. I just go there and say, oh, let me redeem a gift card. I use this thing bonuspoints.com and I looked on there. I said, you know what? Let me see how many gift card can I get for Panera. I looked on there. It was on the list. It was a $25 gift card that I had for 3,000 something points on this points.com. I had that for years. And I just read emails and I just click on to get points. and look at stuff on the phone. So that's how I plan on splurging. So if I have to buy anything extra, I'm not actually paying money or cash or writing a check or using my debit card. I have these gift cards that I'm using. So that's one way that I am um, controlling my spending. So I'm gonna do a video on that. I think I try to do a video on this on the screen thing, but I can't figure out how to download the dang screen showing the screen on my app so I could show y'all some of the apps that I was doing. But all these receipts. You see, let me show y'all. You see all these receipts? I got these. I got two. I got three different apps um, that I scan receipts and I get points. And I got more receipts I need to do for today. So I scan the receipts and I get points, and I could buy gift cards, or I could go deposit to my PayPal account. So earlier this year, and I told y'all I was doing these different things with these different apps, scanning receipts and points and all that stuff. So at the end of somewhere towards the end of the year, I'm gonna start putting them all together. But so far, I was estimating that because I have one like Coin Out. I'm gonna put it in my description box of all the different apps that I use where I'm getting points of gift cards and points, even for cash. Now it may not be a lot of money, but like the gas app one, say that's about 40, $50. So if I have four different apps and I'm getting about 40, 50, $60 by the end of the year, I should probably have a good $600. But we're gonna add it all up. I'm gonna do a video and show y'all, but I'm gonna put it in the description box in terms of the different apps that I use. And y'all could click on it. And I would appreciate you click on it because you get points and I get points. But it's a lot. It's a lot of different ones. I look at it as a game. How people back in the day they used to have these stamps. You go to Piggly Wiggly and you get these stamps, and then you could put them in books, and you could get this big catalog, and you could buy things from the catalog. Boy, I remember that back in the day. Me and my cousins and my sister would be fighting for those stamps when my grandparents came from the grocery store. And we would try to see who's going to get those stamps. And then we get this big old catalog, and it was really good stuff back in the day. Toys, appliances. It was no cheap stuff now. It wasn't cheap stuff like they have now. And you could buy a lot of things. It was those Piggly Wiggly stamps. What do you used to call that thing? And you just save the stamps and you just put them in a book. You know what? I wonder if anyone has. If I ever go to my grandmother's house and they got that old stamps and stuff they used to sell. I know Piggly Wiggly they used to have it. I wonder if they still do. I know they don't have the same prizes and stuff but that was fun. And that's what these little kicks, these little points is that they do it, but it's now digital. And you could buy most of the stuff you buy is a lot of things from major stores and gift cards, food, restaurants, travel, and you don't have to pay taxes on it because it's not taxed because you already spent the items to get the points. But it is great. But I've done that. I had one for years, mypoints.com, and I used to had so many points. I used to buy gift cards for gas, $75 and stuff. And I used to just read emails and accumulate them. And then after that, I started, everybody hears of fetch rewards, you know, but it's just a way of making a little bit of And all these companies is data and it's marketing. They're not going to steal your information, but um, this is something that you may really want to look at doing. But I will put it when after I end this video. I'm gonna put it in the description box of all the different links, and I would appreciate if anyone joins. But it takes a lot of time. It's not a lot of time, you know. These ain't accumulated for one day. These are several days. But sometimes you have to make sure you don't let it expire because sometimes you could scan them and they could say, "No, this receipt's too old. It's 2 weeks ago." But it kind of helps, especially when you want to save some money. You know, get some gift cards, and you know, like I said, you can even get a Visa gift card. Somebody got Visa too, $25, $50 Visa gift cards, and you know, I'm not saying it's going to replace you not getting a job, but it is a way to um, have money saved up so you could and if you're low on cash you could just go ahead and redeem for gift cards. You know, you may want to go out to eat, you know, Outback Steakhouse or something. You know, you ain't gotta, and you may not, you want to go out to eat. So, you know, I want to go somewhere, and you know, you may get a gift card. It's the same thing. So, hey, four people. Who else is on here? I ain't trying to stay here long because it's 10:36. I almost finished. I finished studying for the day. I may continue again. And I did go to. I did walk today. I went to the Y. They had like a free day or whatever. I don't know. I don't know why they said it was supposed to be free for a week, but they're gonna say it's only for the day. I'm like, what? I thought this thing said for the week. But anyway, so I went there. I walked around in an indoor track for about a mile, a little bit over a mile. I didn't keep track of my miles because I had left my phone at home and my Fitbit is not working. And I took back those two watches because it wasn't what I expected it to be. So I'll probably go on the bike after I get off from here that you see in the background and do some weights. All right, y'all. Thank you for the 3 thumbs ups. So like, comment, and subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel. I would appreciate it. I'm gonna see what else is going on YouTube streets. Okay. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all have a good one.